All right, so we're starting off with a real winner right away, wine that I'm really excited to share with you. It's a white from Mendoza, Argentina, made of two grape varietals, Torrontes and Muscat. First I'm going to deal with the region of origin, Mendoza and Argentina. The Argentinians have a long history of making grapes, and really their focus in the last little while has been on the red wines. Of course, Malbec everybody's familiar with, which makes sense because the Argentinians are the largest red meat eating people per capita in the world. However, just limiting yourself to the red wine varietals of Argentina is doing yourself and your clients a disservice, because they make amazing white wines. And one of the white wines that they do make is with their traditional grape, or their national grape, Torrontes. What is special about Argentina as a growing region? Well, the Mendoza area is very high, and it's right up against the bottom of the Andes. And these are some of the highest vineyards in the world, elevations of up to 1,000 meters or over 3,000 feet. The benefit of being up so high is that, when you're that high in the world, the sunlight is very bright, so you get tremendous amounts of solar radiation, and that helps to bring grapes to total ripeness. But if for every 100 meters you rise above sea level, the temperature drops about 1/10 of a degree, so the higher you go, the cooler it gets. In Vancouver, where I'm from, it'll be raining in Vancouver and snowing up in the mountains. That cool temperature at altitude, it's like putting the grapes in the deep freeze, and it allows them to ripen more slowly, so they're able to get all their sugar and phenolic ripeness, but still maintain their acidity, which gives them tremendous balance. And this makes them an ideal growing area for white wines. That diurnal temperature swing makes grapes that are at once flavorful, but balanced and really refreshing and bright. The area is famous for its access to incredible irrigation water, and they get fresh water from the Andes Mountains that comes down in snowmelt, to the point where for the longest time the Argentinians practiced a form of irrigation called flood irrigation, and simply they would have large irrigation ponds. They'd open the sluice gate and just flood the vineyards with water. They had such access to beautiful and clean, pure water. Of course, nowadays, as the winemaking techniques in Argentina have improved and modernized, drip irrigation is employed. And this is really ideal because it allows the vineyard manager to work with the winemaker to control the grape's access to water, which is especially important near harvest. The least amount of water that we can allow the grapes to have access to means that they tend to get a little bit more concentrated, and you get richer flavors. And with the two grapes that we're looking at today, Torrontes and Muscat, that is particularly important. So the grapes we're looking at, Torrontes, I'm really excited that you have an opportunity to show to your clients this, what is quickly becoming Argentina's national white grape, Torrontes. You don't see it planted in very many other places in the world, which is really too bad. They are especially well suited for growing Torrontes because it performs well at high altitudes. The elevation, the bright sunlight, and the cool temperatures allow the grape to come to full phenolic ripeness, develop all kinds of tremendous flavors. The skin gets a little bit thicker, and it gives it a little bit more body and richness. Torrontes is known for incredible floral character, very exotic, and it literally jumps out of the glass, quite exciting for white wine drinkers. It has a heady aroma of citrus and pear, white flowers, and with that high elevation, the grapes are able to exude all of these characteristics and still maintain a balanced acidity, which keeps it fresh. And of course, Muscat. I love Muscat. It is the one grape that makes wine that tastes like grapes. And whenever I pour a Muscat wine for any of my students or colleagues, there's always one word in their tasting notes, and that's yummy. This ancient variety is a huge crowd pleaser. Even though it has a lot of phenolics and a lot of flavor, it always comes across as this kind of soft, rich, juicy, grapey wine that is backed up with gorgeous flavors of stone fruit, peach, and apricot. And I think with its addition to the Torrontes blend, it will really add some depth and richness to it. These two grapes together, Torrontes giving all of its floral elements and making a very exciting wine all on its own, infilled by the presence of Muscat, I think will create a wine that even in this dry style, you'll find very, very exciting for your guests. You know, when we think about drinking these wines, and I just have a little bit of the Torrontes Muscat right here, you know, number one, when you see these wines in the glass, they always have this beautiful kind of bright yellow-green character to them. Makes them very appealing and they're very entrancing. And on the nose, the florals, that exotic fruit, that heady, rich, generous aroma literally jumps out of the glass, and you get all of this peach and apricot and white flowers and tropical fruit. It really quite enticing, and it makes you want to taste the wine. And on the palate, there's only one word for this wine, and that is flat out delicious. For your clients and customers that have never had an opportunity to experience Torrontes, this is a great chance for you to show them what Argentina has to offer in terms of a white wine varietal. The fact that it's backed up with Muscat makes it, in my mind, a really easy sell. People are immediately drawn to the generous fruity nature of the grape, and I think the two of these grapes together create a wine that not only is super enjoyable all on its own, but also works well with a variety of foods. And when I think of a Muscat Torrontes blend, you know, I see myself sitting in the back porch and on a hot summer day and fishing around in a cooler full of ice and water and pulling out a bottle of this stuff and pouring it ice cold into a glass and enjoying it. I think it will really show very, very well. People will get all of the benefit of that rich tropical and stone fruit nuance, as well as the grapes will still maintain a bit of acidity, so they'll be balanced on the palate. And if you serve this wine cold, that acid will come out and it will take the edge off that rich tropical kind of stone fruit nuance and show a very bright, pleasing wine, a little bit warmer. And this is an incredible wine for pairing with food, for drinking all on its own. Really exciting. We've got some food pairs. So for those of you who are at home, and you have a little bit of wine in your glass and a little bit of food on the table, I mean, simple accompaniments like green grapes are absolutely fantastic. Things like cold cuts of cheese and that like brie and that is fantastic. Really, really great pairs. So the Torrontes Muscat blend, I think, is something that's a little bit unusual and unique in the world. This is a great talking point and something that can be really exciting for your clients. And as I said, for me on the palate, so rich, perfumed, heady, round, but still it has that acidity that comes through from the Torrontes, so it's fairly bracing. It doesn't come across as kind of soft or overly cloying and sweet. And even with things like a bright green grape, it makes a great pair. I'm just going to do a little food and wine pairing now here, and I just want to, as we get into this, kind of talk about how food and wine pairing works for me. Very often when we talk food and wine pairing, you know, everybody talks about food and the effects of food, or the effects of the wine on the food, but in the reality, it's more the food that's the culprit and not the wine. So I'm really interested in the food's effect on the wine more than the wine's effect on the food. So when I do food and wine pairing for these type of events, I always like to taste the wine first. So give it a smell. A little taste. Just remember, folks, I'm working. Green grape. Juicy, sweet, backed with a little bit of acidity, a fair mouthful of flavor. Let's see how the wine responds. Glorious. That acid rounds out the sweetness of the grape. It lifts the wine and gives a really beautiful, pleasing, dry white wine experience. So for customers that are white wine drinkers, that prefer a dry wine style, are looking for something new, I think that this incarnation of Torrontes and Muscat will be very exciting for them, and it delivers all of the excitement that you would expect from a white wine, all of these beautiful flavor profiles, and as I said, it transcends everything from citrus through stone fruit to tropical fruit, still balanced with that acidity, and has all of that rich, generous, grapey nature that Muscat gives that makes these wines so appealing. I know that in the past, some of the limited edition kits have featured Muscat, and it's always been, for me, the easiest sell in the world. We stand in front of great crowds of people, we pour a little Muscat, and as I alluded to earlier, the one word that's always in everybody's notes is yummy. This is a wine that you could go back to again and again and again, and I think that you're going to have a lot of success with this Torrontes Muscat from Mendoza, Argentina.